Okay, so next in pen testing, we want to make sure that our company and or client isn't susceptible to what we refer to as a session hijack. So that's what we're going to attempt next. You know, it's always funny because whenever I hear the word hijack, I have flashbacks to my childhood. And back in my childhood, we had a famous airline hijacker whose name was D.B. Cooper. So D.B. Cooper, well, that's the name he used when he purchased the airline ticket, actually hijacked a Northwest airline plane that was flying between Portland, Oregon and Seattle, Washington. And he let all the passengers go. He basically did a ransom for $200,000. And after he let the passengers go, the plane took off with just the pilots and him. He lowered the stairs out the back of the plane. Yes, you youngins, they used to have stairs that went out the back of the plane underneath the tail. He parachuted out. That was one of his demands, was the money plus 2 parachutes. And there's been some speculation going back and forth of whether or not certain individuals were actually D.B. Cooper himself, but they've never found the money. And actually the FBI assumes that he didn't survive the jump at all, considering he jumped at night out the back of a 727 in pitch black in the rain at 200 miles an hour with no goggles, wearing loafers and a trench coat. Sounds like a party. But the concept behind hijacking, as far as the session side is concerned, is very much the same, is that we're going to try to steal information in order to try to gain access. So when we're doing the pen testing portion of session hijacking, we need to go through and first of all decide which targets, or we're going to try to discover which targets sessions could be overtaken. And therefore, we want to see if we can discover any authentication mechanisms that could actually be bypassed. So next we'll then talk about the steps to hijacking. You first need a parachute? No. Instead, we're going to talk about that we need to see if we can locate a session on the network, as well as the things that we would do to sniff the session between 2 targets, as well as trying to crack the session ID encryption. If we're able to do that as pen testers, then we'll go through the steps of attempting to do a session fixation, as well as make a connection with the target. The next step would be then to collect several session IDs, as well as predicting new IDs. Then we just simply replay the new ID, or even do a brute force on the session ID. Now, if you're not familiar with the detailed steps on what these different definitions are or steps are, again, I got to reiterate to you, you need to go back and watch our course on session hijacking. But as far as the pen test is concerned, we're going to go through and talk about these steps. So let's get going.